Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Welcome, everybody, to the Michigan Beer Series, episode 29. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. You can join us live every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, over at betterondraft.tv, facebook.com/betterondraft, or twitch.tv/bodpodcast. If you're listening to the podcast, you can always check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/betterondraft. If you're watching us on YouTube, go check out our podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Amazon, everywhere you get podcasts. Once again, my name is Ken. We will start off with what I am drinking. I am double fisting here. I've got a Zum Urban Rest alt beer, as I'm almost done kicking out all the beer that's in my fridge. I've also got a nice clear glass here. This is some hashtag gin from Oso in Arizona, thanks to my really good friend Amy over there. Appreciate
Is that who got it for you?
That's who got it for me. Wendy, what are you drinking?
Oh, I have an Eastern Market Pineapple Market Day. Love that beer. And I went deep in my cellar today and got a Supernatural vanilla rum cake.
Oh,
Not
geez.
sure how old that one is.
I'd have to think about it, but definitely like 3 years probably.
Nick, what about you? What are you drinking?
Well, I just got some Kolsch, or Casper the Friendly Kolsch it's called, I guess.
I should have specified here. Nick Paglia, what are you drinking?
But they say the guest takes precedent over me. So.
Oh, he was quick. He was ready to answer, too. I think we need to maybe replace Nick with Nick.
Yeah, maybe. So, I don't know. I am drinking some more Partake Brewing from last week. I got the Peach Gose and the Blonde.
Surprised you're still not working through that Christmas package.
Yeah, what are you on, about day 6?
The hell with you, dude.
Well, Dan, what are you drinking?
So making up for it since Nick's not drinking, apparently, I've got me a KBS hazelnut.
All right. Well, we had a guest lined up originally. They canceled last minute, but we had somebody who said, hey, I can step in if you want, and we're very appreciative. Welcome Nick to the show. He's drinking a Kolsch. What do you do for Supernatural?
I do everything, but as far as brewing goes, it's me and Chris Hibner, one of the owners. We both kind of share all the recipe formulation down the middle, and yeah, other than that, I run the place entirely.
Now, it's very interesting that you mentioned that because both of you were on our show back in 2018. You can go check out that episode over on our Spotify. I'll probably try to upload it to our YouTube page here sometime next week. But you guys were in studio for that show. You guys are still together doing that. What has transpired over the last 4 years? What has been the major differences in Supernatural since you guys have opened?
Well, honestly, I've had a lot more creative input myself. So some of our more trendy beers and higher selling beers, I've played a big role in getting those off the ground. As far as sales go, I mean, I took over the whole place. I'm running every department. We stopped doing things like table service, and now we do bar service only. I don't know. COVID was a real fun time. Everyone remembers all that stuff. Shutdowns are great. At one point, it was just me and my chef. We had to lay everybody off. Thank God there was good unemployment. But I don't know. There's just our beer's just been going through constant change just over time. I've been helping create bigger events and stuff. Like last year, we did the Wildwood Sour Fest. I made like 18 different sour beers. We had them on tap outside. It was a big party. We're doing that again August 27th. So that's going to be fun.
Well, let's go into the business a little bit because we are, we talk a lot about business here on this show. COVID obviously hit you guys hard, and you made the change to bar service as opposed to table service. How has that been for your customers? Is that something
that was done a long time before COVID?
Long time before COVID. So the
Yes.
decision was before COVID.
Yes.
But let's kind of still go back to the question, how did your guests like it or not? Have they just kind of given up giving you shit about it, or is it something that they've actually enjoyed?
So a lot of the customers do like it because they can just get up, get whatever they want anytime they need it. They're not waiting on someone to come check on their table. We really don't get that many complaints about it or anything. Everyone's been pretty cool with it, and people are kind of impressed with how fast we are at servicing them at the bar. They'll see a big long line of people, but it goes fast. So it's been working out really well. Now, definitely there's going to be some people that have a problem with it. You're not going to win everyone over, but and honestly, I've increased our sales tremendously.
Are you seeing a lot of people like it a lot more like during your shows? Because when I was there last week, I think you had a comedy show. You guys do trivia. Like, has it just been an overall natural benefit to the business itself, or do you just feel like you just can't go back if you wanted to go back?
I feel like the benefits are just really high, to be honest with you. The customers seem to be really comfortable with it. Sales are great. Obviously, I need less staff. Instead of six, serving staff walking the floor, checking every table, I'm doing this all with 2 bartenders and 1 food runner. And my staff's happier. I'm not getting like call offs. Everyone wants to show up to work because they're making decent money, to be honest with you. And the customers, they just really have been cool with it.
Money is a crazy motivator for a lot of people. You pay them what they feel like they're worth, and they perform. Wendy,
I've been able to build a real solid, consistent team, and it's been nice.
That's good, especially in the restaurant industry, because of turnover is so big in that industry. If you're able to create consistency, you're ahead of 80% of the other restaurants in the world. Wendy.
So I want to talk about the drink menu because I've had the chance to sample a few of the non-beer beverages that you serve.
Oh, yes.
I think they're fantastic. So tell us a little bit about that for the people who are bringing in friends who don't drink beer.
It is true. So we do have a Class C liquor license. We are a brew pub in Michigan. That means we can do no distribution, but we are allowed to sell other people's drinks. We can carry liquor. I carry Vandermill cider. I have a white and a red wine. We don't sell a ton of wine. It ends up going to waste, so we don't really have a big selection of wine. But we do have a full bar and a very nice like handmade crafted cocktail list. I think that most people don't really know about. We don't sell a whole lot, but I think they're pretty cool. The Honey I Shrunk the Ginger is
delicious.
I believe we're using Evan Williams Bottled and Bond as a base and mixing in lemon zest, a bunch of fresh ginger root, infusing it with honey, and then make a cocktail out of that. And then you get the Ginger People's Gin-Gins candy. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Ginger People, but they make some good stuff. And that's kind of a garnish for that one. There's a mudslide that's made with a stout syrup. So we cook down our oatmeal stout and make a syrup out of it and then make a mudslide with that. And that's really good. Other than that, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I haven't looked at the menu in a minute. My bar manager's changed a few things recently, but they've been pretty good. But overall, liquor is only 10% of our sales. Very small portion.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I was there for trivia the other day and noticed a bourbon tasting event that you guys are having in August. How did that one come about?
So yes, August 9th, we're doing a bourbon tasting with charcuterie board pairing, charcuterie board and certain beers that pair with certain whiskeys. And we got, I think, about 7 different bourbons, and some of them are really nice. We did get a bottle of Blanton's. There's a special bottle of Weller that's going to be really good. Off the top of my head, I guess I don't remember a few of them, but my bar manager has been handling that, and along with Ernie, one of the owners.
How can they get tickets if they're interested in coming to that?
Very good question. On our website, there is a shop tab, and tickets are available there. We are also selling tickets on Eventbrite currently. Gratuities included. It's all one price.
So you guys have done a lot of events similar to that, beer tastings and whatnot in the past. How important do you think that is in the trying to think of the correct word?
In the long run.
Yeah.
So
in the success.
As a business, I think running really cool events just kind of makes you look good. You look like you know what you're doing. Builds clout, probably the best way I can put it. But I mean, we did, and then charity events are really nice. We did a beer dinner with Bees in the D as a charity fundraiser a few months ago. My old chef that was working with me during the COVID shutdowns flew back to Michigan to do it with me because we'd always talked about it. We never got a chance to do it. So we just did all these crazy honey-based beers and honey-based dishes and braised meats and stuff. And we raised almost $3,000 for Bees in the D. And their Bees in the D is a urban honey co-op, and they set up like rooftop beehives and stuff and maintain them. And they're a nonprofit, and they do some pretty cool work for the environment, in my opinion. So just doing fun events also helps get new people in, new customers. And it can be a nice treat for, our regulars, our members. The best way I can put it, I guess.
I always enjoy the events.
I do too. They're my favorite. Beer pairing dinners, favorite thing in the world. I once claimed to be an expert in food and beer pairing.
You once claimed to be, not anymore?
I kind of still claim it. I think I'm really good at it.
Dan, I heard you had some questions.
Yeah. So Nick, taking a look at your information, and I apologize, I'm pretty limited as far as knowing about your brewery, because last time I lived in Michigan, I don't think there was anywhere out in Livonia. So first off, what's it like being located in a city like that? And Wendy can, I believe, talk to this. That whole area is kind of a beer desert, or used to be. Tell us a little bit about the experience being there.
Well, it's our clientele in Livonia. It's kind of what you expect. I mean, there's 100,000 people, but they don't all know we're here. It's kind of weird. There's all the time people drive by, or I'll see them. We've been open for 5 years. People have been telling me, I've been driving by your place for 5 years. I finally came in. I was like, oh, great. What took you so long? What are you waiting for? But as far as like what's really good for craft beer in the area besides Supernatural Brewing, I mean, obviously we have Schoolcraft Brewing Company, the brewery at Schoolcraft now, and that's a really cool place to go. One Under's a really great craft beer bar. I don't know if everyone really likes to go to Wine Barrel Plus nowadays, but I used to work there once upon a time as a homebrew consultant and selling craft beer. But customer wise, people can be pretty cool. There's a lot of like local regulars. A lot of people like just walk up here. And then I guess when people like travel to come to our brewery, it's usually for our sour beer. I don't know.
Now, you mentioned being a homebrewer consultant. I noticed you have a homebrewing club. I'm an avid homebrewer too, though I've recently switching over to mead and to seltzers. Tell us a bit about that club. How does it work? What goes on at it?
The club was a secret for the longest time. It's not a big club, but they meet every Tuesday here at 6 p.m. It's free to enter. It's not the most official club yet. There may be some changes in the future. There might be a more structured membership structure, I guess. But it's pretty laid back. Everyone just kind of meets up, talks shop, talks process, shares some samples. Every second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. And we have a contact form on our website that you can use to sign up for the email list for it.
Now, have you had any recipes come out of there yet that you've started to make commercially at the brewery?
Not yet. I am trying to get them to work on some like a competition of some kind, and and then the winner gets to brew their big batch on our system with us. And but I'm looking to do more with the group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
it's slowly growing.
Now, you mentioned that you make sours. I see you have a couple on your menu currently. Are you making traditional sours? Do you have a barreling program, or are these kettle?
These ones are kettle. I do have a barreling program. And that Sour Fest on August 27th we do here, it's called Wildwood Sour Fest. And Wildwood is basically my flagship, pretty much lambic style barrel-aged sour. And we brew that with 60% Belgian Pilsner malt, 40% unmalted raw wheat. We use aged hops, and we use a very wide blend of different microbes. And some of those barrels have been full for 3 years now, still developing, and I'll be blending a lot of them up soon. But otherwise, usually the sours we have on our menu are kettle sours. And often they're stabilized and back sweetened, and they usually have a pretty strong fruit flavor. And that's they're more like sour candy. Best way I can describe them.
Now, do you just do sours with your barrels, or do you do stouts? Anything else besides
I
that?
do. I also barrel age stouts. I really only have like four filled right now, 4 55-gallon bourbon barrels. Actually, 3 of them are rye whiskey barrels from 2 Janes. I'll go through maybe 6 to 8 55-gallon barrels a year with different events. But right now I have a 16. It's a stout. It's brewed with a lot of honey. It's 16% already. I just put it in a barrel, in a 2 James rye whiskey barrel, and we brewed that beer in collaboration with Funky Turtle in Toledo. But after the barrel aging, I'm expecting it to be closer to 19 or 20% ABV. We'll probably send it off to the lab and get it tested.
That sounds like the kind of beer we would drink on like a Tuesday afternoon here on this show. So I think everyone would be definitely down for that. I mean, 20%, not really. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say that's more like an episode 1 beer, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's pre-show episode 1. Pre-show before we start. We're going to drink that and then get started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but anyways,
according to Dan, that's a pre-Lions game drink. 10 a.m. You might as well just crack open a 20%. You can coast the entire game.
Yeah, it's good for the walk over. Then you got to keep going.
Yeah, well, it's also good for the disappointment as well.
What Ken's referring to, they actually won that day, so there was no disappointment when it came down to that.
Look, when you've been going to games in my family for over 40 years, there's tons of disappointment, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, Nick, I heard you have some questions for Nick here.
It's a lot of follow-up because some of you kind of stole my thunder already, but I want to talk about, so Wendy talked about the events and I was kind of browsing around. You guys do comedy shows at Supernatural.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because I like going to comedy shows myself. Me and my wife, we usually go to Mark Ridley's over there in Royal Oak, maybe once every couple of months. We were just there. Sorry, Ken, I had to bring it up. But we saw Craig Robinson there about a couple of weeks ago. And to prove it, I actually have the parking ticket to prove it. There's the parking ticket. Thank you, Royal Oak, for this. I will be contesting this. But anyway, talk about the comedy shows that you guys do. It sounds like a fairly regular basis.
Yes. We do them. We schedule them or at least try to schedule them on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month. The guy I have booking for the show, he vets every comedian. Some of them are small time. Some of them are credited on things like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Comedy Central. He'll bring in touring comics, local comics, and they're usually pretty good. Honestly, the shows are great. Maybe he's given a few newbies a tryout early in the show, and they're doing like a quick 5-minute set. But usually everyone's just laughing their ass off.
Enjoy a good beer from Supernatural and get a couple of good laughs. That is always.
I love comedy shows, honestly, but I've never watched one here. Too busy.
You got a business to run, so that's totally understandable. You had mentioned, when people come to, obviously in Livonia, not many people still know that you guys are out there, but then you get the people that come from outside of, I guess, Metro Detroit, Tri-County, let's even go that far, that come from distances for your sour beer. Why do you, what, in your opinion, what is it that draws people to your sour beers that maybe other breweries don't have that kind of draw, especially if they're driving longer distances to come to yours?
I don't want to talk smack about anybody. So
you can talk smack all you want on this show. It's totally okay. So.
I don't do that. So I mean, a lot of breweries are making sour beers, and I'll try them, and I'll be like, "There's not really that much tartness, or there really isn't any acidity present at all." It does happen, but if there's just a little light refreshingness to someone's sour beer, usually I'm happy. Here we try to make them noticeably sour. And then we're also we're back sweetening the fruit. We're not fermenting on the fruit all the time. Sometimes we do, but usually we're stabilizing. We're stabilizing our product, and then we're blending in fruit puree and different adjuncts and ingredients, creating things like our apple pie sour. And honestly, it tastes like an apple pie, almost like a cider. Oh. Our raspberry jelly donut beer. Again, we did not ferment those raspberries, but they did add a lot of flavor. There's a little bit of vanilla. But I try to make my flavors pop as best I can. Lots of non-beer drinkers love our sours too. If anyone, almost every time someone's like, I don't like beer at all, I can get them hooked on one of our sours.
Is there a particular fruit or sour fruit that you really like to work with a lot that you can almost count on that it's going to be in one of your beers, or do you like to just kind of rotate it, experiment, see?
I probably have about 30 different rotating sour beers on tap.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But some of our more popular beer ones, I would say, and they're all pretty different.
Mm-hmm.
Our Tangerine Dream is a creamsicle sour. I'm gonna finish that one here soon. That'll be on tap next. Here's a weird one. We brewed a kettle sour beer, and then we added a bunch of Cabernet Sauvignon wine must to it, and we added enzymes to break down any complex carbohydrates to really dry it out. So everything became fermentable. Everything was turned into alcohol. It was about 14%. It's called Blood Moon, and people loved it.
Oh.
So it was almost like a rosé.
Oh, okay. I see Wendy shaking her head over there. Wendy, did you have that one, or is that something right up your alley?
Yes, of course I did.
I had to ask. One more question. You had mentioned the beer that you're kind of putting in the barrel right now. That's kind of sitting. It was at 16%. Mm-hmm. And by the time you think it's done, it's going to be closer to 19. Who knows? Maybe even 20 for all we know.
Yeah.
Would you say that is one of your most ambitious beers? If so, why? If it isn't, which one is it? And why is that one your most ambitious? Because for a while we were seeing everyone was like, okay, the bigger, the bolder.
Right.
How high can we get our beer before it becomes borderline?
Which is a fun game to play, in my opinion. Like, taking on the challenge of creating some stupidly high ABV beer and trying to overcome all the stress that yeast is going to go through.
Sure.
Just to reach that's a fun challenge. This is not my attempt at that. That was easy. Because we just added honey to the beer. Well, we brewed it like what would have been a 10% imperial stout, added enough honey to bump it up to about 16%. And then we just threw a bunch of yeast at it. It wasn't that hard. My most ambitious beers are definitely my barrel-aged sours. Because they can go in any which direction. I've dumped batches. I don't know. I think it's more of a kind of playing the lottery, but if you're good at it, you can kind of help guide it along its way. Give it a good start. Give it a good chance. You don't want any spoilers, off flavors or anything. There's just been so much research done into wild and funky sour beers in the past several years. Most breweries are scared to even touch them. Like, don't put any Brent in my brewery. It's going to infect everything and never go away. And I laugh at them because that's not how it works. But that's the traditional way of thinking. Cell death is cell death. If your stuff's clean, it's clean. If you can't get rid of an infection, you probably have a process problem.
All right. There you go. Ken?
Lambic style wild aged oak aged sours, most ambitious for sure.
Okay. All right.
Let's go to that for a little bit, because a lot of people, when they get into craft beer these days, it's really, you're being inundated with one of two styles, I believe. You're going to get inundated with a shit ton of IPAs, and I use that as a general term, hazy IPA, double IPA, milkshake, smoothie IPA. But you're also seeing, in the same sense, a large amount of people going towards sours, kettle sours, gozas. Why, help me understand a little bit, someone who doesn't necessarily have a good, well-refined palate, why do more introductory beer drinkers go towards the sour styles as of late? Because it's just not a style that I like at all. It's just not something that really yearns to me to continuously pucker up and taste pure salt.
I understand that, honestly. Just having that taste, they don't really taste like your traditional beer. They just don't. They really don't. They're so different.
So what you're saying is that because it doesn't taste like a bitter or a piney or something that you would get out of the fridge or out of a $2 beer machine at Foley Warehouse, because it doesn't taste like anything of those, you think that's what a lot of people more want to go towards?
At least for the ones that I make, like I said, the best way I can describe them is sour candy. People like sour candy.
Sure. Yep. People like sour. I'm not a big fan of sour. I'm not a big fan of candy in the first place. I got this way because of beer and pizza, not because of chocolate and candy. Moving forward, I want to get your opinion, because you mentioned earlier that you are a brewpub, which means that you cannot distribute.
Correct.
It does allow you to do things that breweries can't do, like bring in outside alcohol, wine, beer. What?
I can bring in outside alcohol, my customers can't.
Yes, your customers can't. No, you can, as you could sell outside alcohol.
Yes.
Good clarification.
Yeah, very, very important clarification for sure. Do your guests look for something what's missing on your menu that, you mentioned Vandermill, you bring in Vandermill cider. Are you going to be bringing in any cider or making any cider yourself? Do you guys have a winemaker's license there, or?
So here's the thing. When you have a brewpub license, the only thing you're allowed to make is beer.
Really?
I can't get a winemaking license. I can't get a distillation license. Nothing.
Can you get one at a second site and import
No.
your own No.
No, you cannot. It is a different tier in the tier system. We are technically retail and not production. We just happen to be allowed to make some beer. And nobody can be in tier 1 production or tier 2 distribution or tier 3 retail at the same time. You can't have ownership. You can't even technically work in a different tier at the same time.
I see. I did know that, because I know there was at the beginning of COVID, people were trying to figure out what was going on, and people were taking buyouts and leaving. So leaving a lot of restaurants, the necessity for someone to work there. And I remember a lot of my beer selling friends be like, "I wish I could come there and help work for you because I can't."
Yeah.
Is that a Michigan thing, or is that a national thing?
That's a Michigan thing. Michigan has its own 3-tier system laws for the alcohol industry. That is a Michigan thing.
Why do you think that exists like that?
So obviously it's an old post-prohibition law. The idea was to help prevent people from undercutting each other, selling alcohol way too cheap and things like that. And while some of the laws do seem kind of outdated or useless at this point, just kind of annoying, in my opinion, Michigan craft beer would not be as strong without it, because it has kept a lot of big guys out of our area. And so that means people are buying local craft beer more, in my opinion.
You mean big guys out of our area in retail or in
craft beer rides? So a lot of out of state breweries don't really like to distribute to Michigan because of our distribution laws. Whereas, within Michigan, we have certain allowances, like this is some newer stuff, like a microbrewery is allowed to self-distribute up to 1,000 barrels of beer a year now. Or it might be 2,000 now. I thought they might have upped it. I don't remember.
It's 1,000, but in-house sales do not count.
Okay.
So,
I've heard that before too.
Yeah, that was one of the big. I mean, it's still 1,000 barrels is still one of the smallest production for self-distribution laws in the Great Lakes. Like some states are at 100,000, some states are at 250,000 or 1,000,000. Numbers that you're not going to reach unless, only two breweries, I think, reach 1,000,000, which is Boston Beer Co. and Yingling, along with the other macros, but at least in the craft beer world. I guess my question to you, and this is going to be more on the business side, because you said that it hinders people from coming in distro, but
I think it does. Larger breweries that like to do self-distribution and aren't allowed to do that here. I mean, Three of Floyds, why were they staying out of Michigan for so long?
To sucker us to get to their brewery every time we wanted to get beer.
Right. They give it to everyone else. You could go to Toledo and buy it.
That's true. That's true. I used to go to Angola because Angola used to have New Belgium and Three Floyds. So I would drive down 69 to Angola and pick up just cases upon cases of beer and bring it back. Totally illegal, but what are you going to do? Catch me?
Is it though?
Well, you're only allowed, I think, 7.
Did you resell it?
7? No, but you're still only allowed a certain amount of cases across state lines.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Of the same beer, or just so many cases in general? Because I'm just thinking about my Toledo runs.
Officer that just had his wife leave him and is really pissed off and wants to take it out on some, middle class white dude.
It's never happening.
Can afford the fine? I don't know.
That's like every cop whose wife's leaving him.
So I believe the number is like it's volume wise, and I'm pretty sure it's a keg's worth per person. So however many cases is a keg, I think it's like 7 or something like that. I don't know the math.
What size keg are we talking about?
We're talking 15.5 gallons of beer across state lines.
Yeah,
the most.
Yeah, you can only bring a half barrel across state lines per person because you can obviously have more people in the car.
Oh god, whatever. That's nothing.
Listen, I don't make the laws; I just break them.
Well, I think we all do on this show, Kenneth.
Is there speaking of laws, Nick? Is there a law that you think would help benefit Supernatural in your business if it was removed from the system in Michigan itself, or a law that would be created to help you guys a little bit more?
Obviously, it'd be really cool if I could distribute. I keep my liquor license and I can get my beer out there, and it's just a way of marketing my breweries, getting kegs in bars and stuff. That's definitely the obvious one. If they just passed a law that said Nick can do whatever he wants, hey.
Oh no.
What would you do? See,
I'm not telling you.
What would you do in the craft beer world? Does that help?
Okay, fine. Distribution would be great for us. Can't do that now. Any other, and we're just talking liquor laws, basically, right? That would make sense for this topic, I think. Like liquor laws, it would make us tax free. That'd be
we're not talking the purge here. Yeah, we're talking.
Yeah. All bets are off. Anything goes. With Michigan's liquor laws, something that would help us. If I was allowed to do some self distribution, that'd be pretty cool.
What about at least distro to like beer festivals?
What's that? Sorry.
What about distribution to beer festivals? Not just
beer
the guild festivals.
So guild festivals for sure. Well, because the guild puts those on, we know that those are actual sanctified beer festivals. Mm-hmm. So Michigan does allow us to go to beer festivals, and you just need to get that proper license for your event. So sometimes people just get just like a event liquor license or whatever, and they have to buy all their kegs from distributors, usually, or I guess someone that's allowed to self-distribute. Those we can't go to. Usually they are proper beer fest, licensed beer fest, though. I'm going to go to it's in Canton. I'm forgetting the name. It's the Canton Historical Society puts it on. I think it's in September. I'm going to go to a little beer fest there. It might be one of like 4 breweries. But that's not a guild festival, for example. Nah.
The brews, brats, and bands at the barn. That's a September 10th. That's
Yes.
the same weekend as the UP Beer Festival. You're in competition there.
Oh, I mean, I probably wasn't going to go to the UP Beer Festival anyway.
So you have to be at a certain beer fest license. So I didn't know that. I just thought that the guild had their own special license that they were able to get to be able to do it. But I guess that's also what has created the reason why they can't do cider or mead or anything like that at the guild festivals anymore. Because
which kind of sucked. That was cool, but
yeah, we were pouring for a few years straight. We actually poured for Cellarman's. And we definitely heard it from Dom. And we also had, when they officially knocked out, not officially knocked out B Nectar, but B Nectar wasn't able to, participate with their meat anymore. We had Carrie and Miranda on our show that night, and it was a interesting night to say the least. I think we might have lost him though.
I think we lost Nick.
No, he's here. It's just we lost his video.
There. That's okay. While we're waiting for him to come back, I'll tell you guys that I went to the Summer Beer Fest here in Ypsilanti. I did see Wendy on Friday night. Wendy, did you have a beer or two that was one of your favorites?
I did, and son of a gun, I can't remember what it was called. Guardian Brewing had a blue. It was totally blue, and it tasted, it was a Blue Moon beer, and it was so good.
Like
I really
Blue Moon
liked that
the ice
one.
cream.
Yes, like Blue Moon the ice cream, and that was delicious. I loved that one. And also pretty much anything from City Built. They were fantastic. I think I had 3 different beers from them that I really enjoyed. That's the only thing I can think of by name, to be honest.
Okay. I had the opportunity. I had never had it before, but I wound up going. I was talking to Jay over at Parent Brewing, and I had the Roselaire for the first time ever. It is a Flanders Red, and easily by far one of the best beers I've had all year. I can't tell you the last time I had a beer with that kind of style. Probably since the old Westland Belgian beer festivals, bringing in that kind of stuff. But yeah, the festival was good. It was warm the first day, or hot the first day. The second day got muggy and hot near the end. I am glad to not have to be able to do that anymore for every beer fest going in 2 nights. But Nick is back. Welcome back.
I'm back.
Nick.
Real quick before we go back to him, Blake's also had a Grand Cru that was amazing.
Oh.
Ooh. You guys talking about Beer Fest?
Yeah, we were killing some time as you had decided to run away from us.
Sorry.
But yeah, we were talking about the Beer Fest this past weekend, talking about some of the beers that Wendy and I liked during the festival. What did you guys bring to the festival?
We brought a lot of beers that we have on tap currently. We brought our apple pie a la mode sour, the I am a jelly donut, raspberry I am a jelly donut sour. I brought our Brute IPA just because we wanted to change it up a little. I don't really see those around anymore much, but we kind of like the style. What else do we bring? Our Imperial Hefeweizen brewed with peanut butter. Fat Elvis. So that's like a peanut butter banana sandwich, basically. About 7.8%. What else do we bring? I made a batch of bourbon barrel aged Doom cakes. That's my MF Doom tribute stout with a bunch of chocolate cake in it.
Good summer beer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they drank it all. I'm
not surprised.
And we brought our German style Pilsner Paranormal Pils, which is honestly one of my favorite beers ever. But yeah, that's everything we brought. It was pretty fun.
I'm definitely looking at the Doom cakes right now, and you need to watch yourself because Microsoft / Bethesda / I'm trying to think.
Blizzard,
who else.
Activision.
Yeah, they don't take too kindly for IP there, and that's you're really pushing the logo and the what's that called, font?
The
font.
Well, you don't have to bring attention to it.
Yeah, stop. I'm getting away with it for now. Shush.
Are you who came up with the name Doom Cakes and all the graphics behind it?
So Doom Cakes, it was me and my cellarman Matt. I mean, we listen to MF Doom all the time, and they're like, "Oh, let's make a chocolate cake style, call it Ho Cakes," because that's one of his songs. And I was like, well, I guess that's kind of inappropriate, and also
Good choice.
we could not directly name it after one or the other, and we just did Doom Cakes, and it's just a big pastry stout.
Well, today I learned what an MF Doom is, and a rapper, because it looks a lot like, obviously, the video game Doom with the
Doom?
the font. Yeah.
That's funny because we're also talking about doing a Doom-inspired beer with Aberrant Brewing, and how, I mean, I'm not sure if it's really going to happen, but we both love, I don't know, the Doom video games, and we're all, my cellarman Matt and Adam at Aberrant, we all love Doom 2016, and we love the soundtrack, and we were gonna try to think of some kind of Doom video game inspired beer to do together, because that'd be fun too. But obviously this is the rapper, and MF Doom is what, Metal Face Doom or Metal Fingers Doom, inspired by Dr. Doom from Marvel.
I see. I feel like
persona.
I feel like there's a rabbit hole for me that I don't want to get into by looking into this.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be
The most famous underground rapper of all time.
I never would have thought Dr. Doom would be a rapper. So
MF Doom.
as we finish up the show, each and every week, we've come up with a final question to ask you, something casual, easy, and let you promote what's upcoming here at Supernatural. So we will start with Wendy. Wendy, what's your final question for Nick here?
Well, being a Detroit draft diva, the question that I get most from people, divas or not, is when is the Drop Dead Diva coming back?
Yeah, I love that beer. I want to brew it again. I've been asking some divas if they want to come brew with me again or something. But
I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
That would be cool because I love that beer. And it was an awesome collaboration. I thought it was delicious. Definitely a lot of people asking for it.
Dan,
so hopefully soon.
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 Dan, soon TM, yeah. What's your final question for Nick here?
All right. What's one style of beer you haven't had a chance to make yet that you'd like to make and sell at the brewery?
Well, I keep trying to make rock beers or smoke beers are some of my favorite. They are a bit polarizing, so I've been hesitant to make it. I tried to pull the trigger a little while ago, and Chris told me no, but I'm still trying. I want to make a really good smoke beer for me.
It's such an underrated beer too. I'm surprised more people don't look from. I think it was Live Oak we had on here.
Yeah, with
a while ago. That makes a lot of smoke beers, and they seem to do well. I'm surprised more people don't ask for them.
I mean, when I was brewing at Wichita, because I brewed there for 2 years before I came here, we'd brew a 15-barrel batch of 1908, and it was stupid smoky, but they sold it all, and it was awesome.
People do like it. They really do. I don't, but people do.
People do.
It is kind of niche or polarizing, I guess. It's polarizing, but there's a lot of people that do like smoke beer.
That is true.
Nick, what's your final question for Nick?
Oh, I also need to make a really spicy beer.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, all right. Well, speaking of the spicy beer, what do you put in the spicy beer then?
What do I put in it?
What are you going to? Because you're going to brew it now.
Or where are you going to? Yeah, what are you going to?
Spicy things. Many spicy things.
Okay, all right.
I mean, there's lots of ideas. We've done a habanero chocolate stout before called Black Tongue. That was good. I just kind of want to kick the spice level up on a little bit. I'd like to do like a straight up jalapeno, or a spicy sour beer, or I don't know. There's so many ideas. I just want to make something really spicy sometime. Lime spicy sour or something.
We've had beers with Carolina Reapers. We've had beers with ghost peppers. I have not come across a beer yet with Pepper X in it. Maybe you should investigate that, because I guarantee you there'd be a market for it, especially if it was a good imperial stout or something to that effect.
I got people I could sell it to.
Oh, good,
I mean, I'd be first in line to try it.
I've also been wanting to do like a cocoa mole stout, coffee and peanuts and dates and cinnamon and all kinds of spices and ancho peppers and I don't know, maybe something with a little more heat to really kick it up. That's one thing I'd like to do sometime.
Absolutely nothing that appeals to me. I do not like spicy at all. So my final question for you is very simple. We talked about that you're doing an upcoming bourbon tasting, whiskey tasting. What do you have a bourbon or a liquor of choice that you like to go to when you're not drinking beer?
Oh, yes. If things have alcohol in them, I tend to like how they taste.
What if they don't? I mean, you guys make the hop water, which is really good.
We did do that once. We haven't done it since.
The 2020, I think.
We could kind of use that every now and then. I'm just saying.
Yeah, probably. I do like whiskey a lot. I like bourbon. I like scotch. I like gin. I will keep going. But
give me a brand. What's a whiskey? What's a whiskey brand you're looking for at a bar?
At a bar?
Yeah, you go to a bar. What's the first thing you're going to look for in the whiskey section?
Something that I know I might be able to find. I mean, Buffalo Trace is always good.
All right.
I love Ardbeg. I love peated scotches.
Okay.
Heavily peated scotches.
Nick, last minute. We thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Great to catch up with you. Supernatural, where can they find you? Social media, location, all that fun stuff.
Oh, well, we're right here.
Where's here?
Oh, like where I'm at? I'm just kidding. All right.
Doesn't help me. Doesn't help the listener.
So we're located at 36685 Plymouth Road, Livonia, Michigan, 48150. Just west of Detroit, basically. Our website is supernaturalbrewing.com. Lots of information on there. We do have a Facebook page. I'm sure if you search Supernatural Brewing on Facebook, you'd find us quite easily. There's an Instagram.
Are you TikToking?
Not yet. I kind of want to. They'd be very, very dumb if I did it, though. Trust me.
I can only imagine.
I mean, your partner could definitely bring in a following with the way he dresses and acts.
Oh, yes, Ernie. Yes, the professor.
The professor, for sure.
Supernatural primarily has one mascot, and it's the professor, but there is kind of one other not as popular mascot, and that's Little Nicky, but he hasn't done too much on the flashy side of things.
All right, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us. Go over to Supernatural. They've got food, they've got beer, they've got spirits, they've got trivia, comedies.
We didn't even talk about the food today. The food's awesome.
Yes,
food's amazing.
Food. You guys actually were one of the few breweries who have ever brought us food on the show, so we definitely have a soft heart for your food for sure. But that's
try the Nashville hot chicken.
The Nashville hot chicken, the Michigan series, episode 29, Better on Draft podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.